Okay, Coach, when you're ready.
Yeah, after watching the film of the San Jose State game, it was a lot like I thought. I thought, we moved the ball pretty well, but just stubbed our toe in the red zone. Four drives in the red zone, and we only get 3 points out of them. That's a problem. So we gotta be better in the red zone. Would have changed that game, and same thing with the explosive plays over our head in the back end on defense. We can't allow that to happen. To play the way we want. Looking at Air Force. Obviously, from an offensive standpoint, they're a unique offensive scheme in the triple option, so got to be great, detailed, and disciplined this week in the run game. And then on defense, they play hard, they're tough, they're physical, what you'd expect from an academy school.
What is a reason for the red zone malfunction, I guess? What did you see on video that said why it didn't work?
Yeah, well, twice we turned it over. That was a problem. Fumbled one and threw a pick. And then, just lack of, execution. Guy misses an assignment, and it turns into a negative play for us instead of a positive one, and sets us behind. So those are the things as we, you move the ball all the way down the field, and then it's breaking down and in those moments, which is, it could be youth inexperience, or, some guys just make mistakes, and they're just in that game inopportune times to make a mistake.
Is Ben going to continue to start?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What did you see out of Saturday that makes you want to continue with him starting?
I thought we had more explosive passes. I thought the balls, we caught some balls downfield that were big, that got us in the opportunities to score. I thought he managed the game, well. He just a couple, 2 interceptions that hurt us. One for points, but as far as what we thought he was and what he is, as far as a game manager and able to make the throws we need him to, he did that.
Then regarding the progress of Saladin Allah,
Mm-hmm.
what got his game going Saturday? Confidence or just?
Yeah, just work. As you go through the season, you get more and more work and more reps in practice and in game. You become a better player. Kind of experience he gained, and I thought he played well and had some really good runs, and still had some runs that, we need him to break that he could have. So I'm excited about where he's at and his progression so far.
Defensively, when you have to shift gears like this from a throwing team like San Jose State to what you're going to see this Saturday, how do you adjust to that? Are there personnel changes that you expect to make? And is there a game previously this season that maybe helped you prepare for what Air Force does?
From a personnel standpoint, yeah, you're dealing with different offensive personnel groups, different style of play, so we have to be different and make sure we match the right bodies versus what they're putting out there. And then, UNLV gave us a pretty good look at some triple option stuff, different packaging and way to run it, but same fundamentals of it.
The team yesterday in practice, when you got together, what's the mood, the morale of the team, and what do you say to them at this stage of the season with 3 regular season games left to play? Yeah,
the mood was great. I've said it for a while, and it hasn't changed. You watch us practice, and you wouldn't know what our record is, which is great to come to work with those guys every day. And we are process-oriented. And getting those guys to buy into the results will come as we continue to do the right process. It's frustrating right now, and there's some things that are painful, but we stick to the process, and we'll continue to get better, and in the long run, it'll help us.
Following up on Les's question about seeing this kind of an offense, is it too easy to fall into a trap of loading the box all the time when you play a team that threw the ball 6 times the week before you played them?
Yeah, it goes back to a discipline thing. You got to really be good at not falling asleep. They're going to run the ball 20 times, and then they're going to try to hit an explosive pass on you where your eyes can get lazy because you're just expecting run. So it's really a discipline on where my eyes go and being detailed in what my key tells me to do.
But can you get caught calling too many plays where you bring too many guys up from the box?
I mean, you can in anything, absolutely. That's the whole. I think when you look at those offenses, making sure what are your numbers at each point of attack. Mm-hmm.
Coach, over the last 2 weeks, it seems like you guys have kind of figured out run defense as a whole. I'm just curious, kind of what are the adjustments you guys have made from? Is that a scheme thing, or is that just kind of those off-ball linebackers really coming up over the past couple of weeks?
It's more guys just getting better, more experience in the system. I think early on in the run game problems were a lot of misfit issues. I think the players have done a great job, coaches have done a good job of just continuing to coach those guys, and they're starting to figure it out and play faster because they know how to play off the front, and I think a lot of that showed up.
You mentioned Saturday that the reason you didn't bring more guys on the pass rush is because they got the ball out quick. But there were many times when their quarterback was back there 3-4 seconds throwing deep. How did you consider bringing more guys at some point? Because it didn't seem to really work too well with what you were doing.
Yeah, I think you got to look at, being able to pressure the quarterback. I've always believed in that, and so we need to look at, okay, how much are we, in that game, when are we dropping 8, when are we bringing guys, when are we just rushing 4? I think that's always a part of game planning, and how do we get after the quarterback and make him uncomfortable, and we didn't do it well enough on Saturday, that's for sure.
I mean, was that one of those games where you look back and go, maybe we should have done something a little differently in that situation?
I don't know if it's totally that. I would say we could have and probably should have pressured them a little bit more, but I wouldn't say it's a total game plan. I wish I would have done this type thing.
Off the topic of just the football games, we're inching closer to December, the transfer portal. How much would you say you estimate Oregon State needs to sustain its program for NIL dollars?
Oh, geez. I don't. I mean, it's always a product and demand thing, right? What are some of the schools that are going to come after our players, going to offer them to try to get them in the portal? So you're always looking at that, and the collective and everyone's done a good job of continuing to raise the bar that way. But as far as an exact number, I couldn't give it to you.
Well, just an estimate. I mean, millions and millions, or do you?
It's in the millions, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is it oversimplification to just have a guy on the quarterback, a guy on the pitch man on either side, and say this is how you stop this kind of an offense?
Well, there's definitely, you got to have a dive quarterback pitch player in every defense that you have and every scheme that you have. And then it's how do you change up who that is, so they don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So that's the real tweaks that start happening when you're playing triple option, is just changing who those guys are and the components of it.
And we see this offense run by certain programs from high school traditionally through sometimes the military schools, and it works. How does that work? Because one could think you could put 8, 9 guys in the box and stop them every time.
Yeah, a lot of it's not. If you're going to take away the inside part of it, there's always things out on the perimeter as well, and so it creates one-on-one plays. And whenever you have one-on-one tackles that have to be made, you break a couple tackle, they make you miss, and it's an explosive play. So that's what these offenses do. They make it a one-on-one game for most of the game.
Coach, I'd be interested in your thoughts about Cy Vendrawali's play, the pick, and even a lot of times step for step in coverage it looked like. I mean, you talk about some stuff over the top they did hit, and it seemed like in a lot of plays your guys, like Cy and others, were in pretty good position. What did the film show you?
Yeah, Cy's another one, young guy that's really playing better as we go. The interception he had in the red zone was just a great play by him individually. So there was some good stuff where we were in coverage where they made a play, which we knew those 2 receivers of theirs were really good players. So, that when you look at it, some of the deep balls that were caught were contested and guys in good spots. That's going to happen. It's the ones where we use bad technique and let them get on top of us right away that we can't allow to happen.
This may have been asked, but do you expect anybody back this week in addition to last week's Robinson and Collins?
No.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
All right.